Hey guys, and welcome to another First Impressions video, the video game series in which we look at a recent release game and I give you my first thoughts and impressions on it. Today we're looking at Flashout 3, which is a racing game that reminds me very much of Wipeout. Now admittedly I have not seen or played Flashout 1 or 2, but so far I am pretty impressed, although I have a few concerns. As always, we'll look through the options first and then we'll jump straight into the gameplay and I will show you the different sort of vehicles that you can get and how they actually play. So let's not waste any more time, let's jump straight into those options. Alright, the options then. This is very much designed to be played with a controller or a steering wheel, apparently, which I've not tried yet, could be fun. If I had one sort of gripe or one sort of complaint that I had with this menu, it is that the bars at the side here where you change things around could due to be a bit darker, a bit more opaque, a bit less see-through, especially with the fact that the text is white. It makes it kind of hard to read. Could just be me, could be a subjective thing, but a darker text box here would make the world of difference. Outside of that though, there are a lot of options here and they're really nice to see. You've got volumetric lighting, you've got shadow quality, VSync, target FPS, you've got all the different AAs and stuff. What would be nice is if the game could be a little bit more trusting in your system. It turned pretty much everything down to like low for some reason and my system can more than handle it, so I did have to turn all of that out. Sound options. Turns everything up to maximum volume and it is a very loud game, so you're going to want to turn in those down just a little bit. It would also be nice if it had the numerical value of what you're actually sort of on instead of just gauging by a bar, would be nice. It does ask you to save each option before you switch to a different option as well, by the way, so bear that in mind. And that's something that I'm going to get to with the tutorial and the gameplay in a bit as well. Gameplay, you've got language, camera shake, on or off, multiplier, vibrations, show points. You've got body in cockpit. You've got split screen orientation. I don't think this is multiplayer online, but it does have local multiplayer. Auto thrust, on or off, and start the tutorial. Again, I've got a few choice words about the tutorial, which we'll get into when we're in the gameplay. And then your controls. You've got your auto air brakes, you've got key binds, or gamepad bindings. You can rebind them, which is really, really nice. It's not something you see, especially when it comes to controllers. So that's really good. Although, to be fair, everything is as you would expect on a game like this. There's not really much else. You get sort of nitrous boosts when you're in the game that are on the ground. You don't get an actual nitrous boost button, which is kind of frustrating in a way, but not terrible either. The fact is you can rebind your controls, and I am a big, big fan of that. So there you go. Not a terrible menu. Could do with maybe just changing the aesthetics a little bit to make it a little easier to actually read. But other than that, very impressed. Let's look at the different vehicles that you can get and all the customization that you can do to them. Alright, so when you decide to play, you've got quick race or you've got campaign. If you go in campaign, you have to unlock everything as you go through. Now, what's nice is that each ship or each vehicle that you've got actually has variations that are unlocked with that ship. So you can change the configuration very quickly between faster speed, less handling, more durability, more energy, etc. And it changes the look. Now, unfortunately, you can't customize the look any more than this, which is a bit of a letdown, but it's nice. I like the fact that you have different ships that you can choose from the beginning. However, you can then unlock more when you get to different point levels. So as you can see, I'm on 4,985 and I need 55,000 points to unlock the next ship. This game is going to be a grind. You're going to be stuck in this beginner variation for a long, long time. I'm really not sure how I feel about that. But the different ships you can get, they all look fairly interesting with, again, different variations that you've got and stuff. I don't know. Like, I love the fact that you can get all these different ships and there's quite a few to choose from. I hate how much of a grind it's going to be. But again, like, you've got the different variations of these ships that you can get. So you've got some you've got some playroom, not a huge amount. Once you've chosen your ship, you can then choose its loadout. Again, you switch on it and you can choose between rockets or machine gun. And again, you need points. So you're going to have to choose whether you want to just get a better ship from the get-go, or whether you're going to want to unlock different sort of things. But they're so expensive. 345,000 points to unlock the very first in the next line of weapons. That's obscene. This needs changing. It just does. It needs changing, because it is obscene the amount of grinding you're going to have to do to unlock everything. It's broken and not a good look, in my opinion. But there you go. So you got different things you can unlock if you have the patience of a saint. Let's look at how the actual game plays and whether you're going to want to spend that amount of time grinding for these different weapons and these different ships. Alright, we are in the game. So this is campaign mode. So each race or each circuit is different from the one before. The first race is just a straight up race. This one seems to be an elimination mode, which is good. It's got all the different race types you would see in sort of normal standard racing games these days. And then this is it. It's very Wipeout X. Now, if you don't know what Wipeout is, you're probably too young to be on the channel. Not gonna lie. But basically, it was a game that was back on like the PS1 days, with very stylized, very neon sort of races like this, with cool and fun tracks, and you had weapons. Basically, you did all of this nonsense. Now, the game itself is very simple. Very, you know, typical. You've got weapons, you've got to fire the enemy, you've got to win. What's different about it is obviously the game modes themselves. You don't tend to see different game modes like this on games like this. And the fact that you don't have boosts per se, they're on the track. You have your air brake, so you can brake left or brake right, or you can just straight up brake like I have been doing, which takes a lot of skill to do, especially if you are using a controller or a wheel, because you haven't got that many fingers to do everything with. To be able to use your middle finger to right trigger and left trigger, and then right bumper, left bumper to navigate the best as possible is quite difficult to do. And then, as you can see, each round of this, you get out, and I keep ending in 6th. Whether it's a race or not, I end in 6th. Now, one of the big problems I've got with this game is the tutorial. The tutorial is fucking dismal, because what it does is it interrupts the gameplay to try and tell you what it needs to tell, and there's no voice acting. If it was just a voice acted thing, or if it was over the gameplay to tell you, it would be a lot better, but it stops the gameplay and comes up with this really big, ugly, horrible text on the screen that stops you from actually learning, because it just frustrates you. Because the idea is that you've got to complete a task on the tutorial before you are able to continue with the tutorial to go to the next bit to learn how to do the next thing. And because the lap is so short, it's literally every 5 seconds. If you don't get the corner that I was stuck on right, then it will essentially just tell you to do it again. But it stops the screen, it stops the gameplay, and it comes up with this really horrible grey text box which tells you what to do and how to do it, but it's not very immersive. It's not a good way to do a tutorial on a game like this. The other problem with the tutorial is it's on every screen. It tells you about all the different weapons and different cars, but again, it comes up with a really obtruse, very difficult to sort of get around, no skippable option for the tutorial, and it's on everything. It's horrendous. Outside of that, though, the game is very fun. It's a game that I can see myself playing quite a lot. It's a game that I can see myself dipping in, dipping out, and I imagine with friends it would be a lot of fun. It is a bit of a shame to see that it doesn't seem to have an online multiplayer mode that I've seen. It is local only, which is very much a shame, and it's not the first game that I've seen that does this sort of thing, where it's like, now you are playing, I'm going the wrong way, that now you're playing and it's local only. I think that's something that they could sort of gain a benefit by adding online servers, but that's just me. This is Flashout 3, sequel to Flashout 2 that I've never played. Not a bad game, not an amazing game. Could do with a few minor improvements here or there with the aesthetics. Let me know what you think in those comments down below, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.